The basketball playoffs are here. It's win or go home. I'm Tarek Patel.
I'm Randy Rosenblum, and this is SoCal Prep Report.
I'm not on there. I can't see.
Okay, relax.
I guess I'm on. I couldn't hear. It's a little crazy in here. We're still having a Super Bowl hangover, so it's a little strange in here. Congratulations, by the way, to Seattle. They won the game 29-13, but you all know that. We'll talk about the game and point-counterpoint. We're going to talk about Sam Darnold, the quarterback. But let's get Tarek Fatal's impression of Seattle winning the title.
I think the whole thing's Bo Nick's fault.
Okay.
Yeah, you see where I'm going with that?
Yeah.
I'm being funny, of course, but yeah, I think clearly the better game would have been if the Broncos won, and I do think if Bo Nix would have played the game, they'd probably beat the Patriots. You know what I mean? In that game, that just wasn't so great. But nevertheless, that is out of Seattle's control. I thought the defense, regardless, I thought they were the better team, and Sam Darnold wins the Super Bowl.
We both projected that Seattle would win it last week on the show. In fact, I was close. I had 24-13, so I got Seattle's points right. But you had an opportunity to talk with Jaime Ortiz on the Fatal Factor, who's the high school coach at San Clemente. He's been there a long time. And coach Sam Darnold.
Yeah, he was great. I think, 24 hours after Sam Darnold lifts the Lombardi Trophy to get on Jaime Ortiz 24 hours later and talk about what he was like at high school. He told great stories specifically about Ed Orgeron and how he recruited him and how he got offered by USC and the kind of kid he was, the kind of family, and just the kind of athlete that he was. Playing linebacker was a great. I actually didn't know he was the league MVP of. I don't know what league San Clemente's in, but he was the league MVP as like a sophomore or a junior in basketball, which I thought was pretty cool. So played a little baseball, but that fizzled. So we're talking about an overall athlete, which I think a lot of parents and young athletes need to see. Like, being a multi-sport athlete helps you when you begin to focus later on in your career.
What's the name of the show? SoCal Prep Report. Okay, that's the Super Bowl report. Let's go to the prep side of it. So let's talk high school basketball. The playoffs are in full gear. And in the open division, we'll start with the southern section. But before we get to the scores, Tarek, your thoughts? They went to 12 teams, 4 brackets.
Yeah, this is something that I think you asked me last week how many teams I thought would be in it. I said 12. I said 4 pools of 3. I mean, I pretty much nailed that. Format's a little bit different, but basically, if you finish first or second in your pool, you go to a quarterfinal, and then the bottom finishers, those 4 teams, they'll play it out. Winners of those games go to the state playoffs. So 10 of the 12 will advance to the state playoffs. 2 will go home. I think it's a great format. It adds competition. There's a little bit of tension there. Not everyone just gets to go to the state playoffs for participating. Someone will go home, which to me is the nature of the playoffs.
Going to be a great playoff tournament for a lot of different brackets. There's the open division and 9 other divisions. We'll talk a lot about the open division in this program today. Let's start with top-ranked Sierra Canyon knocking off Crespi. Now, this game, scores misleading, 71-54. After 3 quarters, Crespi was right there with them.
I believe it was only a 4-point difference. Something like 48-45, so something along those lines. And Sierra Canyon was barely clinging on, but they turned it on. Crespi, I wouldn't call it like breaking news, but new information I learned today. So Martin Kamen, who is this player that's kind of come on for Crespi, has officially left the team. I don't know if that's something you know already.
I didn't know.
He left the team.
I know he went to play internationally, right?
Oh no, yes, but like he's never coming back. He's going he's going to like be a pro. He got like some pro contract to play in some Japanese league or something like that. So yeah, tough timing for the Celts, man. I actually just got done writing about him, how like he had a year on JV and he's gotten so much better. He leads the team in scoring though, a low amount. It's like 14 or 15 points a game, but yeah, he's out of here. So congrats to Martin Kamen, I guess. I don't know.
Breaking news from Tarek Fatal.
So
how about Jordan Mize was the leading scorer, 16. So Sierra Canyon wins their first game. Crespi's not out of the tournament yet, but highly unlikely that they're going to win the open division. How about Santa Margarita and Damien? This is a good ball game. Caden Bailey's the star there for the Eagles of Santa Margarita. Poured in 21 points. I like Damien's team. I didn't think they'd win because of the competition level, but they're very solid. This is a good win for Santa Margarita.
Yeah, I think I would say that the three teams that have the best chance of winning the whole thing are Sierra Canyon, Redondo Union, and the Santa Margarita team. And what was most impressive to me, and I think we talked about it last week, they won the Trinity League Championship, and Caden Bailey, who is their star, had 0 points. So this is a team that really can get it from different places. There's really no easy way to guard them or suppress them. They find a way, and they have a great coach in Justin Bell.
Is anyone playing better than Redondo Union? In recent weeks, they're wiping out teams, and they did that to Etiwanda. This game wasn't close. I'm looking at the score, 74-31. S.J. Madison with 20 points. He's one of the stars at Redondo Union. It's a deep squad.
Yeah, excuse me, Chase Hawley and Devin Wright. I mean, some really, really good players. But I think the key to this team, and I've mentioned it before, Reggie Morris has a team that is super versatile. They're all long, athletic, and are a very versatile team that can defend multiple positions, and they can zone you, and they can man you, and they can press you. So they can morph into whatever the team, or excuse me, whatever the game calls for. And so Etiwanda is no slouch team. They're obviously known for their defense. That didn't show up. And then clearly they didn't score very many points. So maybe a perfect storm in regard to Etiwanda's worst game. But the beauty of the Open is their season's not over. They could easily just simply win their next game. And you have to win one game, and you get a berth to the state playoffs. That's it.
By the way, you mentioned Chase Hawley. He just committed to Pepperdine. You like that?
Yeah, I do. I think that's a great level for him. I do like that. I don't know who the coach of Pepperdine is nowadays, but that's a good level for him.
How about Notre Dame Sherman Oaks? They're dangerous. They got a guy by the name of Navarro Bowman who can flat out play stats. He just, all the stats, they're just stuffed into the sheet. He had 25 points, 5 rebounds, 5 steals.
Right.
And he did a zillion things last night in the win over La Mirada.
Yeah, this is probably one of the better stories in regard to player spotlight you're going to get in the Southern section. Let's not forget Tyron Stokes was on this team, the #1 player in the country. He leaves like a week or 10 days before the season starts, and Navarro Bowman is thrust into a much bigger role in regard to scoring. Everyone knew how good he was, but for him to have Tyron Stokes would just, it would be like Super Saiyan. So the fact that he's able to score and give what the team needs still is really, really impressive. He is a player of the year talk candidate type player. I would even say, even if Notre Dame gets to the semifinals or the final, he might be a front runner in regard to performance and player of the year value for his team.
In the Open Division, you can lose and still survive. However, now we move down to D1. Want to take a look at the top team there, Crean Lutheran. Thought a very intriguing opening game. Santa Barbara's got a very nice program, but Crean Lutheran, that big team, physical presence up front, handily got by Santa Barbara.
Yeah, let's not forget the Santa Barbara team had some really, really good players last year and a good team. They actually knocked off Mater Dei last year in Division I playoffs.
You were there. Yeah.
It was such a fun game, and Zuffalato is the name. And so that kind of regime is gone. Now, Greg Zuffalato, the coach, is still there, but I think simply not as good. Crean Lutheran is a team that, in my opinion, probably could have been an Open Division team because of their size and some of their skill players. But they've got a guard named Hunter Kaplan who's very, very good and can shoot very well. So look for the Saints to make a deep run.
D2, I had to put this game into our little board there because we wanted to see that Mater Dei was in D2.
Right.
Now, they hammered Providence. Ramirez, their guard, had a big game. Not a shock that they won. More of a shock, really, that they're in D2.
Yeah, everyone kind of pretty much has a problem with this, but I always like to try and get 30,000 feet. I often find myself taking pride in not being a victim of the moment when it comes to high school sports, though everyone loves to do it. Look, in high school football, we've seen it, Randy. We see the Oaks Christians, the Long Beach Polys of the world, these programs that we're used to seeing in top divisions under this competitive equity format with the computer. They don't have great years, and they drop to Division III, Division IV, and it looks odd. That's what happened with Mater Dei. They just simply weren't that good this year. They just weren't. They finished 5th in their league, 4th in the Trinity League, which was an at-large berth. They have a couple nice players. They have, I think, 14 losses. They just dropped down to Division II, and for that, the rest of the way, they're gonna play programs that probably have no business playing Mater Dei in regard to legendary status. But this Mater Dei team is not a juggernaut.
Now, you're right.
See what I'm saying?
Gary McKnight's team, as you said, with the 14 losses. You'd never envision a McKnight team with only 18 wins. They still might end up with 22 or 23
right.
because of the playoffs.
Correct.
So it'll look better than it really is. But it's just stunning to see the Monarchs in D2.
I agree.
Glad we agree on something. Next division. This was an upset. D3, San Marino beating top-ranked Milken. But we have also noted here, Milken's best player was hobbled.
So great year at Milken. First-year coach Ryan Coleman, who's a great guy. His son Grayson Coleman is a standout junior, averaging something around like 20 points a game, but he's been hurt. So he didn't play the last 2-3 games of the season. No problem. They won their league. They get into the playoffs. And then last night he tried to go but couldn't. So they were really pretty much without their best player, their best guard, and that showed.
D4, maybe the best game of the night, certainly in D4, was Shalhevet. Whoa, they had to host a big, strong basketball team from Capistrano Valley Christian, and they were down by 10 points with 3.5 minutes left. Rallied to tie it and win it in overtime behind the brilliance of Yaakov Lieberman.
Yeah, Lieberman, yeah. No, he's pretty much been their leader all year long, and Tim Tucker's their coach, correct? He texts me the scores sometimes, so I know that Shalhevet, they're a feisty little team, and a good win at home. At home, yeah. If you take it however you can get it, and if it takes a 10-point deficit to overcome, then so be it.
Especially late like that. Again, Lieberman didn't have a particularly great game. I happened to be there, and late in the game he took it over and played brilliant in the overtime. Steals, making 3-point shots, just went off at the right time. And a great performance by him for the Firehawks, who are going to play probably tomorrow at 1 o'clock for religious purposes. Normally you play Friday night, but they got to play Palm Springs. They're going to have to make that long bus ride. They'll play probably at 1 o'clock tomorrow at Shalhevet. They're still working out the details on that one. All right, let's turn our attention to City boys basketball. Palisades and El Camino Real. Nobody believes that anyone in the city can beat the Dolphins. They got a player, E.J. Papula. He had 23. His brother's on the team as well. Papula is the man. The Dolphins are the team.
Yeah, no one's coming close to these guys, and I do think that, I'll tell you right now, if the Dolphins find a way into the Division II state playoffs, which is possible because the city it's rough sledding right now, that they might find themselves in Sacramento, man, winning a Division II state championship. That's how good they are. I think it's likely with how big these scores are, the state will look at the open division champion of the city and go, you need to be in Division I. Now, it doesn't mean they can't win a couple games, maybe, but they won't win the state championship.
A lot of people like this Washington prep team and thought they'd get by San Pedro. That wasn't the case. This is the first time the Pirates have ever been in the open division. This is a really nice win.
It is. It's basically a historic win. Like you said, first time ever being in the open division, and now look, they're in the semifinals of the open division. So what an opportunity for this program. Why not?
Again, this is single elimination. Format a little bit different.
And only 8 teams.
With the 8 teams in the city section. So we got to bring that up. So if you lose here, you're out. Fairfax and Birmingham. Birmingham, the favorite. You can see the score. The Lions are back.
So disappointing, man.
Why are you so disappointed?
Birmingham, I couldn't believe Birmingham lost this game at home. I saw Fairfax with my own 2 eyes play against Palisades. It's one of Jamal Hartwell's, and I hope he doesn't see this. And if he does, Coach, I was sitting there and I felt bad for him. It's one of his worst teams he's ever had, and for them to go on the road and beat Birmingham, good for them. Fantastic. But it was a rough Fairfax team, and I don't know if he'd ever agree with it on record, but I know watching him coach that game, I could see it in his heart that he looked out there and was like, I don't know what's going on. What
you should have said is you should have looked into the camera and said, Coach, turn the audio down. I don't want you to hear
Mute this part.
Yeah,
mute this part. No, great win. Way to galvanize the team to go on the road and beat. It was a 6 seed over a 3 seed, but for Birmingham to lose that game, I'm shocked.
Cleveland, this is not a shock. This is a good Cavalier team. Their program has been solid for the last few years.
Yes, everyone expected the finals of the Open Division to be Cleveland versus Palisades, and so far that's what it looks like it's going to be. I don't want to get ahead of myself. Still one more game to win for each team, but Cleveland, Charlie Adams, Coach Dagam Asfwa, they got really, really good, a good coach, good players. They're going to be just fine.
Dorsey lost to Downtown Magnet the other night in a lower division game. And apparently one of the players, an official.
I can tell you all about it, yeah.
You know about this already.
Oh, yeah, I'm going to do a video and a breakdown. We'll show it next week. But Yeah, basically at about the 4-minute mark in the fourth quarter, a young man from Dorsey gets a foul called, no problem. They line up for free throws. It's his fourth foul. The Dorsey coach says, hey, you got to come out. Probably going to sit him for a couple minutes because he's on his fourth foul. As he's running by the official, he clearly says something to the official. The official tees up the young man, giving him his fifth foul. He's now fouled out for the remaining 4 minutes of the game. Dorsey goes on to lose the game. This young man takes off his jersey, approaches the official after the game. The game's over, and there's a bump. Now, the official, we'll get video on this next week, so tune in. But the official then, flops and just lays on the ground. Very weird.
Did this guy play in the NBA, this official?
No.
Just came with the flop.
Maybe a soccer player, though. And then people come over to get the kid away from the official. He then breaks free from people and starts swinging at the official. None of the punches land, but very, very obscure scene. That's the breakdown. Dorsey loses. And what world we're in, where Westchester loses, Taft loses, and now Dorsey lose to very obscure programs. It tells you the sign of the city section. Downtown Magnets knocks off Dorsey High School in 2026 high school basketball.
You're not shocked by that?
Stunned.
Okay. The girls are getting going starting tonight. Let's start in the southern section. This is open division play.
Yep.
Rancho Christian, Ontario Christian. Ontario Christian's a great team. You can see the record 27-1. But Addison Archer is a freshman player for Rancho Christian, a freshman who averages 27.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of sounds like the girl from Ontario Christian. I'm blanking on her name right now.
Smith.
Yeah, Kalina Smith. Yeah. Thank you. Sorry, thank you. Yeah, Kalina Smith was averaging 30 or 35 as a freshman. So another young lady coming up in the ranks and kind of out in the same area. So it'll be I don't know how close of a game it'll be, but it'll be fun to see Kalina Smith and the young lady from Rancho Christian. What's her name?
From Rancho Archer.
Archer. Addison Archer?
Addison Archer.
Yeah, it'll be fun to see them go at it.
Okay. All right, a few more games to go through on the women's side. Fairmont Prep and Etiwanda. Etiwanda is the favorite there. Of course, we have our favorite coach there, Stan DeLuce. They win championships seemingly every year. Oak Park and Sierra Canyon. Really the story there, and Sierra Canyon's the big favorite. They're trying to get the transfer from Notre Dame eligible Arenas, Hamiley Arenas.
Yeah, Hamiley Arenas.
You pronounce it a different way than I do.
I'm
Hamiley?
pronouncing it the right way.
I've never met the young.
Yeah, Hamiley Arenas. Really good player, averaged 24 points a game as a freshman. And she's probably going to get eligible because she's 365 days out of sport. She did not play a high school basketball game this year due to injury. So her last game was, I want to say, the January 30th or no, it was February 2nd of 2025 or something like that. So she's 365 days out of sport. According to CIF rules, that makes you eligible.
Other games to take a look at. Redondo Union, yes, they're in the girls, but they're the underdog to Sage Hill. Sage Hill's another strong program. And that's the team that'll be the favorite there is Sage Hill. Then we drop down to D1. I just want to mention this game, Notre Dame and Ventura. Ventura is the #1 seed. Ventura has a young lady, Kylie Staniland, who averages 24 a game. She's a senior guard.
Yeah, Staniland is a really good player, and I believe her father is a coach, a well-known coach as well out in Ventura County. So, yeah, a lot of basketball blood there. I don't know how well Notre Dame is going to do. They get in as an at-large, I believe. I don't think they qualified as an automatic qualifier from the Mission League, so that's a fun game.
City will have their open division in the girls as well tonight. King Drew against top-ranked Westchester. Comets should win easily,
yes,
but King Drew has athletes. Venice at Granada Hills. What about that Highlander program, which was so good for so long?
Yeah, Jared Honig was the coach. Now he's at Valencia, and now it's Ray Colston,
right?
Who's was at El Camino Real for a while, so now he's at Granada. Yeah, I think Colston's a great coach, and that should be a fun game.
Cleveland at Hamilton. Now Hamilton has that point guard, that freshman Andrea, who is tremendous. Andrea Antonio. She had the 54 points against Westchester in a regular season win.
Okay.
So you got to think that the Hamilton Yankees are the team to beat here.
Yeah, I mean, look, if you got someone that can score, that's going to help you in a bind. I mean, when in the playoffs, when it's win or go home per se, obviously the open division is that way in the city, not necessarily in the southern section, but when the game's tight, it's nice to know who you're going to go to. Now, the other team knows too, but it's nice to have confidence in, hey, we got someone we can go to in that moment, as opposed to it being a scramble.
Antonio scoring 50. Very, very impressive indeed. And Palisades at Birmingham. Birmingham, the big favorite there. Although Pally's had a really terrific program over the years. in the city section, but the Patriots figure to go deep.
Yes.
They are one of the true favorites to win the tournament along with Westchester. I wouldn't be shocked if Birmingham wins this.
No, Birmingham will win the game.
No, I mean the whole tournament.
Yeah, definitely possible. And again, with the city, unfortunately, we know for the boys it's Cleveland Palisades. For the girls, it's going to be Westchester, Birmingham. It's just it is what it is.
Time for point counterpoint. You're going to like this one. This one's going to be fun. Okay, Sam Darnold, San Clemente High School. You know that by now because of the Super Bowl. Is he the greatest quarterback ever to come out of the southern section? Keep in mind, John Elway, Granada Hills, Warren Moon, Hamilton. On the city side, Tarek Fatal. Is Sam the best?
I'm going to say no, not yet. I think Super Bowl win automatically puts him in the conversation. Obviously, it's argued. That's why we're doing it. But I think the low-hanging fruit name that comes to mind in regards to how many yards he's passed for, how many Pro Bowls he's won, and the longevity of his career is Carson Palmer. I don't know, and we don't know this to be for a fact, but I think Sam Darnold might be the only Southern Section quarterback to ever win a Super Bowl, start and win a Super Bowl. There could be one out there that we're not thinking of, which is very possible. But I think other than that, in regards to success in the NFL for so long, winning games, Pro Bowls, and accolades, I think Carson Palmer right now is the best. However, it would not surprise me if in a few years Sam Darnold surpasses him.
Nothing like hedging your bets. Great thoughts from Tarek. But does he realize that Sam Darnold could down the road be a Hall of Famer? Let's first go back to college. As a redshirt freshman, Rose Bowl, Penn State leading by 2 touchdowns, 49-35. What does he do in the final 9 minutes, Darnold? Puts up 19 and the Trojans win 52-49. The greatest performance in Rose Bowl history. 453 yards, 5 touchdowns. Those are records. Let's fast forward. He goes through the playoffs this year. No turnovers. 0. Unprecedented. How about his performance against the Rams, the team that was giving him all the trouble? Threw for over 300 yards and cut up the Rams secondary. That's the reason Seattle ended up getting to the Super Bowl and winning. This guy is a winner. I know there's been great quarterbacks from Randall Cunningham at Santa Barbara. You mentioned Carson Palmer. I'm putting my man here to sleep. But there's no question Sam Darnold is now the greatest quarterback after winning the Super Bowl in CIF, Southern Section history. Book it. I don't think you like my take.
No, I do. I think it's there's no one else that's won a Super Bowl from the section. So, yeah, I mean, it makes sense that he's automatically the best. That he goes from literally not even being in the conversation to being the best because he did something that's so special. I totally agree.
Let's talk about quarterbacks.
Sure.
They're all going to Mater Dei, or they're all leaving Mater Dei?
Yeah.
Or both. What is going on?
Don't be
I'm looking at all these names here that are going right and left.
So Cameron Pooley from Chaminade checked in. Russell Sakona,
Right.
I believe is how you say it, from Lusinger at Mater Dei. So they bring in 2, and then Infinieri, I believe is how you say his name. Could be butchering that too. He's been at Mater Dei. I actually kind of feel bad for him. He's actually one that stayed. You know, it's supposed to be his turn.
And he's the guy going to Minnesota.
Going to Minnesota now. I'm not saying he can't play, but he's literally not really played all that much. So my guess is they didn't, and he's coming off an injury. So my guess is Mater Dei felt they needed to bring in someone else. But this is someone that probably deserves to get, have a spot. And he saw the 2 quarterbacks come in, so he left, and he's at Mission Hills in San Diego now.
You've seen a lot of Pooley. Sakona's a 3-star. Who wins that job at Mater Dei?
Yeah, I will tell you right now from sources that I'm talking to, one probably won't be there. They're going to come in, probably compete. Pooley's a senior, Sakona's a junior. It makes no sense for either of those guys to come in and not play. So I think something's going to get figured out this spring. I'm mark my words, this summer, one of those teams, one of those players will either go back or go somewhere else. Both of them will not be there in the fall.
You got to believe Tarek. It's breaking news with Tarek each time, every show. All right, how about all-city running back Cesar Reyes Garfield transferring to Salesian? Now listen to these numbers. This is weird to me too. He rushed for over 1,600 yards, He had many tackles, 23 touchdowns in 9 games, and 51 tackles and 2 interceptions on defense. He might have been the best player when healthy in the entire city section. Garfield's got a nice program. Why is he leaving to go to Salesian?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's more opportunity, or maybe, hey, you never know. Maybe there's a money man involved.
Whoa, that's
an
interesting accusation there.
No, I said maybe. I'm not saying there is. Yeah, I mean, you just never know. Now, look, the cat's out the bag now. We know that there are money men. We talked about it in the fall. So there are powers that be that help students. Not to mention, isn't Salesian a private school? Okay, so that's another one. It could have nothing to do with that. It could have everything to do with just, hey, you know, I'm sure there was an opportunity for that young man to have some financial aid and get a better private school education.
What starts next week? Baseball.
The Masters.
The Masters.
I'm kidding. I know that's
Oh,
not
is
true.
it April?
No,
okay.
no.
I love the Masters. Okay, baseball.
High school, yeah, softball, yeah.
Softball as well. We'll get there. Baseball, defending champ is St. John Bosco. Jack Champlin, their star pitcher, comes back. James and Miles Clark return. Great players, brothers. St. John Bosco, number 1.
Honestly, I got nothing for you on baseball. I mean, other than the fact that, yes, those guys are returning, I think it's the usual suspects in baseball. I do think Corona's going to be good again. Mm-hmm. Corona Santiago, I think, has a kid named, like, Striker Pence, I think is his name, ironically.
Is he related to Hunter Pence?
I think he is. I actually think he is. I know you were being funny, and then now I think he is like a little cousin.
No, it was a legitimate question.
Striker Pence, and I think he's only a sophomore or a junior, and he throws like 104 miles an hour.
Wow.
Long hair. We'll get video of him. He's, for next week, he's one that I'm going to keep an eye on. But the usual suspects, it's going to be Harvard Westlake, Corona, you know, some teams down, you know, Jay Sarah will be good. It's going to be the same old song and dance.
Are you entertained at all with the fact that Louis Lappy, El Segundo hero in the World Series, is going to play his first games coming up next week, Harvard Westlake?
I know that the LA Times has been pumping Louis Lappy for a few years, so I'm sure that's a story for them to follow. Good for them. Is it of interest to me? I'm sure he's a standout player, but he's got a long way to go, just like any freshman.
All right, my notes in softball, it's all Norco. The Cougars won the championship last year. They have one of the best pitching staffs in the country. Coral Williams is a junior. She's going to UCLA, already committed. They have a senior pitcher, Peyton May, who's going to Oklahoma State. And they have a hitter, Leighton Gray. She returns after hitting .435, 8 homers last year.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to be the team to beat. That's the one thing about softball and baseball, and I hate to sound like a glass half full guy or half empty guy, but I think the basketball and football and basketball, these long seasons, you kind of get tired. I always feel bad for baseball and softball because I think that there is almost this lull. The rain's coming next week, so all these games we're talking about aren't even going to be able to, they're not even going to be able to get off the ground. It's just the truth. There's always weather in this opening week of baseball and softball, so there's rainouts and no one can play, or they think they're going to play, then the rain comes and they can't. And then by the time baseball gets rolling, then you get like Easter break, spring break, people kind of check out. It's the last few weeks of the regular season and then the playoffs where it gets really, really fun.
Since you don't care about baseball and softball.
I didn't say that.
He cares. He does care. Let's get back to basketball. I want to mention 2 guys who are in college right now. Elijah Arenas from Chatsworth, starting to play really good at USC.
Oh, yeah.
And really a big story that no one around here is talking about is how good Braden Burries is at Arizona.
Yeah.
He's averaging, 16 a game, had 25 in the one loss that they had at Kansas. Burries is brilliant.
Arenas, I knew, so he comes back from injury, and I think his first game he goes like 4 of 25. I mean, the guy can't throw a pea in the ocean. And I'm telling you, everyone was like, oh, man, look how bad he looks. I'm telling you right now, the scouts are salivating. Like, why? He's missing shots. The guy's coming off a catastrophic injury. The second that rhythm comes back and that sharpness comes back, he will begin to score. In half a season, he's gonna prove he's a lottery pick, and that's what's happening.
Burries is too.
Burries is amazing. We all knew McDonald's All-American, top recruit, physical, ready for the NBA, one and done, and he's been pegged that since he even stepped foot in Tucson.
See how I mentioned basketball and Tarek just goes off. Speaking of going off, we're going off right now. For Tarek Fatal, I'm Randy Rosenblum. We'll see you next week. He's going to get the paper ready right here on the SoCal Prep Report. Take care, everybody. Sam Darnold is awesome. The greatest quarterback in CIF Southern Section history. You can't dispute it. He won no turnovers.